Galactic Standard Date. Year 11356. Day 94. Sol Standard Date. 4th of the 6th, 3267. Basilisk was in full concentration as he focused his powers into cooling, but it was incredibly difficult to wield 2 spells at a time at this magnitude without even chanting. Guess it's back to the language of edgelords. Lem tet feldent, vet basilis, tet lordra, vet mortia, sen coelia. Basilisk grunted in effort as he felt the veil course through his body, as if he were generating the energy himself rather than just storing and emptying. The energies enveloped the moon, and the pale green hue of the power he sent out suddenly turned into a solid sheet of deep blue ice. The entire moon had gone from an inconspicuous grey rock to a deep blue gem with a glowing world line deep within the ice, creating a fantastical array of colours ranging from red, green and blue that splayed across the skies of the Rizeri capital world. The sight looked like a rainbow had decided to evolve into an aurora borealis that couldn't decide which colour it wanted to be. Every single one of the 5,432,002 beings there stared in shock, awe, and uninhibited joy. The Rizeri had begun crying and cheering, and Basilisk snapped out of his own shock at what he had created. He looked over at the massive group of spiders that were beginning to make their way over to him, and then he looked back to Amaranth. "Did I do that?" he asked, with genuine concern. Amaranth looked over to him and smiled. Basilisk could see tears streaming down her face. Yes, you did. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Hey, John, we should build a house here for sure. I want to be able to see this site whenever I want." Basilisk just stared at his handiwork in awe. He kept his eyes on the skies as he asked one more question. I'm not truly human anymore, am I?" he said, with a sadness in his voice that Amaranth hadn't ever heard from him before. She stared at him for a moment in silence before answering with a simple, "No, you are no longer a mortal human. You will never be a mortal man again." Amaranth began to pull Rizeni's bubble down to her planet as she watched the colours dance across the sky and colour the clouds. Rizeni and Lucan stared in awe as the moon was slammed back together before freezing solid. When the colours had begun painting the abyssal void of space like a multicoloured nebula, Rizeni and Lucan completely collapsed on the platform of veil energies. Their breath caught in their lungs and their hearts pounding away like jackhammers. Lucan lowered his gaze. "To think, I had threatened beings capable of feats such as this. I must apologize to human Jeff as soon as I am able. For his master to create a wonder of the universe out of a tragic battle with demons. I suppose this must be his way of granting us a symbol of our strength going forward." Rizeni looked towards Lucan with tear-filled eyes. "I hope he will allow me to continue by his side as even but a servant. I'd wish for nothing more than to bear witness to such magnificent feats. He has taken power born of death and despair, and turned them into love and hope. I can only imagine the reaction our peoples must be having." She let out a weak laugh before she felt a slight change in inertia. Rizeni and Lucan looked to the planet as it slowly got larger. Rizeni gasped as she realized they were going to pass through the nebula of colors flashing around their moon. As they neared their moon, a tendril of dark blue light passed in front of them, causing them to follow the tendril with their eyes. They noticed that the closer they got to the moon, the more veins of light they could make out. They were constantly moving, but it was beginning to look like the branches of a tree swaying in the wind. Rizeni felt her throat catch on more tears as the beauty seared itself into her eyes. Rizeni had her eyes glued to the sight of her moon becoming so many things at once. A testament to victory over the demons, a beacon of hope for all, and the symbol that shows that no matter what happens to us, we will be able to recover with God's guidance. She took a sharp intake of breath as she finally realized she hadn't taken a single breath in over a minute. She examined the scene around her and found that most of the others had either realized that they had forgotten to breathe already, or had actually passed out. She then looked back to the sky in wonderment. "It isn't even dark out yet, and the colours are so vivid and powerful. I can't wait for nightfall." She looked back down to Basilisk and slowly walked towards him. When she got close enough for him to notice her, she knelt down onto her front knees, put her left arm behind her back and her right across her chest. "Oh, great benevolent ruler of death, we humbly thank you for your rescue and the boon you have granted us. There is nothing we could give you that would be of equal value for such a thing as the rescue of my species, and a symbol of such scale. As such, I would like to pledge the fealty of every single Rizeri in existence, past, present, and future. I am certain that all of my kind are more than ready to be but humble servants of the one true God." Basilisk was definitely calm from the shock of realizing that he had lost his humanity as he stared at her. He had lost the ability to be shocked at his emotions, had auto-locked themselves away from his years of training as both a soldier and a denizen of the Vale. I have to answer her somehow, but I can't even say that I'm not a god anymore. I've been defaulting to that for so long that I don't even know what to do with this situation. The walls of emotions that had been locked away hammered at their locks, trying to break free, but he shoved them down deeper, so that he could say this one thing with a level voice and level head. Please, rise up and treat me as an equal, not a better. I may be a god, but deep down, I'm just a human soldier who is still trying to save everyone and be the hero. I never wanted worship, and I never will. I just wanted friends, he said, as he turned away and conjured a chair to sit down on, so he could just process everything. He brought up the ground and formed a little soundproof box for himself, as the emotions finally broke loose like a dam. The shock, sadness, anger, and elation ran through him like a hurricane. Shock at the fact that he had indeed become a god. Sadness at the loss of humanity. Anger directed towards both himself and Mail. Mail had caused all of this to happen, but he was angry at himself for being elated when he discovered he had the power to set the universe right, and he just freely waved around the powers of a little god without a care in the world.